What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I'm here with Anthony and Dina, and we are discussing episode 2 of It. Welcome to Derry. Um, so I know I said for the first episode that I don't know how they can get even more like grotesque in this show. Yeah, I think it's almost like they're competing with the boys, like, oh, this is what we did in the last episode. Let's top it off with this. I, I don't even know where to start. I
Big, ginormous mutant baby.
yes,
There's nowhere else to start
let's
other than with
okay, so
big
yes, let's
ginormous
start
baby.
there because as if we didn't see enough of this mutant baby in the last episode, they had to replay the final scene at the beginning of this first episode. I'm like, do we really need to watch these babies be torn apart again?
Yes.
Because I think in the last episode, I don't recall seeing and hearing the mutant baby chomping Susie's arm off, but you
No.
definitely heard that shit in this one.
Yeah. They made sure we knew, like, oh, this is how that happened, how she ended up. Yeah. And then you know what makes it even creepier? Because they always do this junk with these theme songs where they're like sweet little 50s sounding. So these babies just got ate up, and now we. I'm like, don't do that.
We're gonna talk about that theme song. We're gonna talk about it. But yeah, when they started the episode off and I saw the mutant baby, I was like, okay, so really, y'all about to try, like, it's not enough that you traumatized us in the last episode. You're like, oh, by the way, we're gonna give you a reminder. Like, that's the recap. I don't think anybody needed. Like, we remember very well, very visually what happened at the end of that last episode. Yeah. And then, like you said, something about like when you see it, and I think they did show it to us from a couple of different perspectives in the beginning of this episode. But like when you see the baby come down and he's looking at Lilly, and then you see him literally go down to the floor and you hear the crunch. I was like, what the fuck are y'all doing to us?
Yeah. To this little baby, not even one of the big kids. This is
right. Like I didn't need that sound effect in my head. I really didn't.
I'm gonna tell you, I really like this show, but it is trying my patience because y'all know I do like horror. I don't like gore. I just don't.
Yeah.
And this is really pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, when you think of the original one, like the most gory parts was just the excessive amount of blood, which was just red. And then when they're at the dinner table and all their food starts turning into weird eyeballs and weird stuff. But there was no real like gore in the original. So yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
There was no chomping of babies' arms.
No.
And there were no flying babies with even smaller babies on their shoulders.
There was no traumatizing childbirth reenactment.
Yeah. For the second time.
Listen, so
what do these writers have against childbirth? What is the issue?
Why do we feel the need?
Is there anything more traumatic that can just like imprint itself on your eyeballs than a traumatic, grotesque, horrific, terrifying childbirth?
You know what's funny about that? That is one of the things about Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. That was a huge thing. Traumatizing births and women, yeah.
But on the one hand, yes, I feel like it's too much. But on the other hand, I really feel like it's a little more, maybe not this particular version, but it's a little bit more realistic because when we watch TV and when we watch media and we're seeing scenes of childbirth or whatever, they kind of romanticize it. You know, you have the women and they're pushing and then they get the baby and the baby is already all nice and cleaned up and looking at them. And it's just such a beautiful experience, which yes, it can be. But there's
hold on. That's not my experience because I watched a lot of ER a lot of private practice,
Well,
a
that's
lot of
different because you're
Chicago
talking about
man.
medical dramas. So it's going to be different. It's going to show
That's
Yeah.
more of the
those are all
reality.
dramatic. And in
Yeah.
the last traumatic childbirth, Michelle just watched Unbreakable again. And Mr. Glass's childbirth, we didn't see
Oh,
it,
Yeah.
but we saw the afterwards.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
traumatic.
But
So
like in older shows, you don't really see the
Yeah. It's
traumatic
not like
side of it
now.
because that's
Yeah.
one thing people need to understand. Like childbirth can be dangerous.
Yeah.
It's not all you have to do is push and you make it, oh, you're doing so good. No, sometimes it is life and death. And that's one thing that we learned in this particular episode with Ronnie's mother, because
Yeah.
the whole first episode, we only saw her father and her grandmother. We never saw a mention of a mom. So I figured either mom skipped out or mom passed. Now,
Yeah.
we find out in this episode, her mom actually died in childbirth, giving birth to her, or at least that's the implication. I don't know if that's actually the case, but I'm assuming with how grotesque this
Yeah.
scene got, that's probably what it was.
didn't she say you killed me?
Yeah,
Yes.
she said
You
you
killed me.
ripped me
Yeah.
open. You
Yeah.
ripped
It
me
was
open.
playing on her guilt, which it's sad because you're a child. You only get that guilt because people tell you that you killed your mom, basically. Like
Yeah,
that, like, because how else would you know? You know what I
right.
mean? Somebody
Or
said, well,
oh, she died giving birth to you. It's
Yeah.
like you're not
Yeah.
necessarily blaming the child, but you're still
Yeah.
saying it in a way that the child might take that on, you
Right.
know. But
Because
yeah, but when I say when she got in the bed, first of all, the whole conversation with like her dad and her grandmother, because basically what's happened in the episode is, as we thought, because it would happen at his place of work, and she was the one who let the kids in. Her dad is under suspicion for having something to do with the deaths of Teddy, Stan, and Susie. And the weird thing is, so they hint to us a little bit about how they were found, which means they didn't find any bodies. They
nobody.
found a lot of blood. So again, it's one of those things where you don't have, all you have is the blood, but you don't have proof that they're actually dead. But they're just going ahead and saying, okay, well, there's all this blood, they're dead, but what happened to the bodies? I don't know what they asked Ronnie and Lilly or how they asked them, because obviously the two girls are still walking around, they're still going to school.
Yeah.
So,
But also, what happened to the hand, the whole arm this child had in her hand? So, like, I just wonder, like, so they really think that while she was holding this girl hand, that this man came and just chopped this baby's arm while she was
I'm,
holding her.
I'm thinking when she dropped it and they ran out, that it came and got it.
It must have, because
Yeah,
they said no body parts were found.
there are no body
none,
parts. Yeah.
So
none.
that's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah. So, of course, everybody's thinking the black man did it. The man who, of course, they're not saying it in those many words, because you do have some people who are kind of like, I just don't see it. Like even the first cop, when they're discussing it in the car, he was like, Grogan, really? Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that. And then of course, when you're talking to someone who has a different opinion and you don't want to seem like, oh, I'm disagreeing with you, you're going to start going along with it. And that they start making it into a little jokey joke thing, which I was like, oh, there's a lot of y'all in this episode, because Marge does the same thing. But
Yeah.
they're blaming it on him. He and his mother are having disagreements about how to handle the whole thing. And then of course Ronnie is feeling her own sense of guilt because, oh, she was the one that took them there and they died, like her grandmother saying all out loud, like, well, she should have never taken them in the first place. So
Yeah.
basically you're telling this girl this is her fault.
Yeah.
you know
And then the grandma she has like zero compassion. Send that girl to school. What?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so here we got to go into our little Gen X files. This is what, the 1960s. This is Black parenting in a racist world. She's trying to teach her, okay, well, you're not gonna let these white people talk you down. You're not gonna let them scare you off. I mean, I get it, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like, looking at it from our lens, our current lens, it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, what are you doing? Yes, you talking about the dad, he babys her too. Excuse me, she just watched friends of hers or kids that she knows her own age being torn apart. She might need a little baby. Same thing with Lily's parent at the end when she goes through her stuff and her mom is dropping her back off at the asylum. She is pleading with her mama, please don't send me there. Her mother is looking at her like, I don't have time to deal with you. What? And I have
because she
every time I
already
watch stuff like this, I have to keep in my mind, I'm like, okay,
different
1960s,
time.
different time, different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't take responsibility for that type of thing. They were like, oh, you're going a little crazy. We're going to send you to the asylum. We're going to let them lobotomize you. We're going to let them shock treatment you. We're going to let them do whatever and fix you instead of getting to the root of the problem. Like,
because it was already like really messed up how she had treated her when she was like, you're not the only one that's going through some stuff. And I'm like, but you're the adult. And she's the child who feels guilty for killing her dad. Like, yeah, that was your husband and you lost your husband or whatever. But like, you're an adult who has a child who feels completely tied to this tragedy. Mm-hmm. And she's just like, you're not the only one. And I was like,
yeah, basically like the version of put on your big girl panties and deal with it.
Yeah.
It's a child. Oh my gosh. This is a child. And now she's compounding trauma on top of trauma, on top of trauma, because you're dealing with the aftermath of your father's death. Then you're dealing with the aftermath of this kid that you were friends with disappearing and his finger coming up through the drain and talking to you through the drain. And then you literally just saw 3 other children ripped apart. And I don't mean that like just figuratively.
Yeah,
you literally watched them get ripped apart.
Yeah.
And then you got to go through all this other stuff. And then people are just looking at you like, oh, she crazy. We're going to send her to the south. Do y'all not understand what this child just went through? Why is nobody? Why are they not showing any compassion?
They already think she's crazy.
Right.
And like you say, you have to take it into the context of the time period they're in. You can't. First of all, first we have to deal with Penny. We already have to deal with it altering people's brain chemistry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
Then secondly, we have to deal with the culture and society the way it was during that time.
Yeah.
Like the girl is crazy. To them, she really needs to be locked up somewhere because whatever was going on after her father's death, whatever got her put in Juniper Hill, everybody knows about it. There's a small town. Yeah. So she was imagining, her father's parts in pickle jars. If she was freaking out every time she saw a pickle jar, yeah, they're going to think something is wrong with her.
Yeah.
So if she comes with this story and tells them this stuff, of course, they're going to think so she's not going to say anything because she doesn't want to Juniper.
Right.
Already thinks she's crazy. She's, what is it? Loony Lily?
Loony Lily.
Yeah. No.
So sad, though.
Yeah.
It is. You would think they have more compassion, but come on now. We grew up.
I know.
With our parents.
Yeah.
You talk about in the 60s compassion for a kid.
Yeah.
No, we seen and not heard.
Yeah.
And it was worse for them then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these are literally our parents, well, almost like our parents.
Yeah.
This
is them. About 10, 13 years removed. Yeah. They really were. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you, going back to the monster birth, because I mean that's how we dealing with monster babies, we dealing with monster births. When Ronnie is sitting in this bed, first of all, she looks at the picture of her mom, wedding day picture, and then she put the covers over her head. Immediately, I was like, no, that's the wrong move. That's the wrong move. You don't want to do that. When the bed starts thumping, I didn't even think about it being a heartbeat until I realized she couldn't get out of the sheet. And then I was like, is she inside the monster? Then it starts getting weird because she's got all the I guess it's supposed to be like the amniotic fluid and all this stuff is falling on her face, and that's gross enough. Okay. Y'all could have stopped there. I would have gotten the gist. We would have been good. But no, no. You got the stuff falling on her. You have the bed filling up with water, which is supposed to be the amniotic fluid. Then you see the red on the sheets. And I was like, okay, this is about to get interesting. When she starts pushing with her feet, that's when it clicked to me. I was like, is this thing about to give birth to her? But I still wasn't expecting what I saw.
Yeah.
When
all I know is when we are in somebody's bedroom at night on Welcome to Derry, he coming for you.
Yeah.
He coming.
He coming.
He coming. And not in a pleasant way.
No.
Like in the most horrific way possible. Like I thought, I'm trying to think, what was I think up until this point, me remembering one of the reasons why I don't fool with Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one, I think it was the first one when Johnny Depp fell asleep in the bed. He got pulled into the bed, and then the next thing you know is just a geyser of blood coming out. I thought that was like over the top. No.
Yep, that's it.
Because when
I saw the umbilical cord,
yes,
I was through.
Look, when she got pulled out and she came out, I was like, okay. Then you hear the noise, and she turned around, and I looked. I was like, are those legs? What am I looking at here? Like I'm sorry, Anthony, I freeze frame. I paused it, and I was like, oh, this is not about to be good. Then when her mom's head popped up, you know what? I need to go fix me some coffee. I don't think I'm ready to deal with this quite yet. Listen, I think I said in the last episode, I don't know who writes this stuff. Y'all need help. Seek
therapy,
professional help. Go to Juniper Hill.
I got spoiled on it because David, who gave you Apollo, he was like, how did they convince that girl's parents to let her film this scene with this biting through this umbilical cord? And I was just like, that's a good point. Like, these kids, they're older than they're appearing on screen, but like, that's a lot. Like, I gotta bite through like a fake.
I think I saw an interview with I want to say it was the actor who plays Major Hanlon, and he was talking about a scene. The episode hadn't aired yet, so he couldn't say what scene it was. But he was talking about, he said there are some. No, it wasn't him. It was the guy who's playing
Is it Dick Halloran?
Yes. And he was saying, he said, these kids these days, he said, there's a scene. He said, I don't want to give it away. He said, but the acting that this he said and then he stopped and said that this actor had to do in the scene, because he was trying not to say which kid it was.
Right.
He said the acting that they did in this scene, he was like, they were just committed.
Yeah.
And when you watch the scene, it's like, oh my God, that child is going to have nightmares for the rest of their life. And he was like, but they are so good. He was like, oh, to be a young actor and to be that good again. So I was like, what?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I've always been freaked out about kids and horror movies, and like how to, like, because and then you've been hearing my whole life I've been hearing about the little baby Heather O'Rourke from Poltergeist and her dying and stuff. Like, so there's always some kind of, The Exorcist with Linda Blair. Like, I don't know how these kids live normal lives after shooting this for months. And back in the day, it was longer than a few months, when they used to shoot stuff. So I don't know how these kids go on to the next thing and they're fine.
There's a reason why I'm not an actress. I can't do it. No.
Woo, child, no.
But for her to have to play that fear and then get spit out, and then she turns around and her mom is there, and she was like, "You tore me apart. All I wanted to do was hold my baby." When she put her arm, I was no, no, no.
I'm sorry.
But
Can go
then,
back to the umbilical cord
yeah,
when she was pulling, and then the mouth
yes,
was
that's what I
this.
was just doing. The mouth
Yeah,
was
and she
like
uh,
Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors.
no, she was pulling that umbilical cord. Yeah, yeah, you're right. How do you tell it? How do you tell a child? Okay, so it's going to be pulling you,
Yeah.
and for you to get away, you're gonna have to bite through the umbilical cord.
And
I
that
mean,
thing was gunky.
oh,
It was junky. It was like I'm sure it was probably some kind of candy or some kind of vegetable or something
yeah,
but
some gelatin
still,
probably.
it's like to have that kind of imagery in your head so that you can play that fear just right. And she
Yeah.
did a phenomenal job with that scene.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. But oh my God, that is probably one of the worst things I have ever seen on TV.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I wonder how much of that was practical and how much was digital.
Was CGI?
Yeah,
Look, I'll look it up because I know somebody did an interview. I will look it up and let you know when we discuss
because
episode 3 because
that was the stuff of nightmares right there.
Yeah, yeah. Like the whole thing. Because like being in that huge like waterbed, basically you're inside a huge waterbed. Like, no,
and she's
no.
screaming while she's enveloped in this fluid and she's got stuff falling on her, falling in her mouth and
Mm,
she,
Mm,
mm,
Can we
mm-mm.
move on to the next scene?
Oh yeah, because we got pickles and body parts to talk about.
but it just ooh, and then of course, she screams and her dad comes in and there's nothing there. I was just like, I would be the one to be like, take me to Juniper Hill now. Take me. Just take
Lock
me.
me up.
Take me. Cause after that, how do you go back to that bed and sleep again?
Yeah,
That's my thing.
never.
You can sit here and you can talk you can probably convince yourself that, oh, that wasn't real or whatever. How do you go back and sleep in that same bed?
Yeah.
Because I'm
Well,
not doing
the one thing about Derry kids is they are, well, I was gonna say they're resilient, but they're highly edible too. So
Bruh. No, but like remember how we talked about in the I don't know if we said this on video or we talked about it beforehand, but remember how we was talking about how the Losers Club ain't got nothing on these kids because he came with it with these kids versus how he did the Losers Club. This
yeah.
is a whole different level.
Yeah.
Ooh, he
Cause
was
I don't
very,
know.
very
I know we're not talking about the next episode, but his tastes have refined because he was even more horrifying the
yeah,
first
don't
go
tell me because I haven't seen it yet.
Ooh,
I was trying to
Jesus.
wait till we talked about this one before I watched it, but
Oh, just
Yeah.
wait. Oh, just wait.
It's so good though. I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, so like all these kids are like 15, 16, and they just look like babies for the most part, you
yeah.
know.
But they are pretty resilient though, so
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be fine.
I was gonna say they
I mean,
got to
she
be.
kind of. I mean, first of all, her and Lily are still freaking out.
Yeah.
Like they haven't stopped freaking out.
Right.
They're walking around still freaking out.
But the thing
Just
with
living
those
life.
two, and I think one, I think for Lily is because she's had that experience before of people looking at her, gawking at her, calling her crazy and stuff. So she knows what she should and shouldn't do.
Yeah,
And I
she's hiding
think,
it. She got on the mask, but
right,
she's
right.
freaking
That's what
out.
I'm saying. She knows,
Ronnie
oh,
is physically, visually freaking out.
yeah, but even not to that point, because again, this is a black child whose family has probably gone through all kinds of stuff. And she probably has it in her head like her grandmother. Okay, you know what? Go to school, hold your head up high. Don't make these people think that,
Yeah.
you know, and she's dealing with it. She is freaking out, but I think she's also dealing with it because she's also thinking, I don't want to give them anything else to talk about. I don't want to give them another reason to point their finger at my daddy. Like, that's her whole thing. She knows that what happened to Teddy and Phil and Susie was not her dad. She knows that it was something that can't be explained. But she also knows the weirder she acts or the more she says anything about that, they're gonna point the fingers at her dad. But on the flip side of that, like, I understand she wants her dad to be exonerated. She wants them to know her dad had nothing to do with this, because in the middle of the episode, they do go arrest her dad after the cops has they say something and basically manipulate Lilly into implicating him.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me, and again, I know that these are children, they're not thinking about things in an adult way. The fact that she is so angry at Lilly when Lilly is like, look, I have to protect myself. Nobody else is here standing up for me. If I say what I saw that night, they're going to stick me back in Juniper Hill, and I cannot go back there. And here's the thing. We don't know what she went through in Juniper Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know if she experienced any more of this stuff while she was in there. And that could be one of the reasons why she's so afraid to go. Now, we know that the way that they did asylums and stuff back then, they treated them horribly. They tortured them. They did experiments, all in the name of science. But she could have experienced more while she was in there. And that's why she doesn't want to go. And like, I don't know, the way that people treat each other in this series, and again, I know it's a different time. I know people interacted with each other differently, but it's kind of like, you gonna sit here and go off on this girl because she's trying to protect herself? Like, you have your grandmother. At least your grandmother will stand up and tell them folks, y'all know my son didn't do this, da 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 da. Her grandmother's gonna go to bat for her. Lilly has no one, because it's obvious her mama don't give a damn about what happens to her, because, oh, you're becoming too much for me to have to deal with, you know?
But I also say, I get where Ronnie's coming from, only because she knows, based on how things are with white folks and black folks and the racism and stuff, that little white girl, she feels like that little white girl's her dad's only saving grace. Because who's not gonna believe the little white girl? If the black girl say he wasn't there, then they gonna believe her. But the problem is that poor Lilly has a history. If Lilly had been one of those patty cake girls and she said that the dad didn't do it, they would have immediately, well, patty cake girl said, but it was Lilly. And that's the thing that Ronnie's not understanding, that Lily's, her word don't mean nothing to them because she crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, because one of the background things is that they are itching to do something to a brother. Those white dudes in that town are hankering to do something.
Which is true, but the officer wasn't just gonna go after him without proof until
that first officer,
mob mentality. Well, he's clearly the reason. Go get him. He actually said, this is America. I have to have proof.
But they did come to him and tell him, if you don't do anything about it,
right? The mob mentality, right? Yeah.
So he had to, if anything, he had to find something, because they were going to do something.
Yeah.
But the fact that he manipulated Lilly the way he did, okay, well, if it wasn't him, you were there, you got a history. Like, she was like, you think I did this?
I'm a child.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's Chief Bowers, right? Isn't it Henry Bowers?
Henry Bowers' dad. I didn't even think about that.
Yep. Probably his
granddad.
Yeah, might be his granddad.
Yeah.
Because he would be the same, or a little bit older than Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or his dad would be a little older than Will, or right at Will's age.
Yeah. But the fact that he got her to turn like that, and I think that's the thing. Like, Lilly, even if she couldn't really put it into words, she knew what was going to happen, and she was like, if I say anything, like, I told them he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's about the best I can do, because if I say anything else, they're going to look at me like I'm crazy, and they're going to think I had something to do with it. And she wasn't far off,
Yeah,
because
and
he
that's
really
exactly
tries
what
to
they did.
say, okay, so if he didn't do it, then maybe you are confusing things. Or she was like, you think I did this? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is, let me ask you this question another way. I was like, you know what? These
Just
fuckers.
manipulating that baby.
Yeah. But if, I mean, people wonder why we say don't trust the police.
Okay.
I mean, because unfortunately you do see that happening,
Yeah.
Mhm.
um I mean,
Look
shit.
at how many people have signed confessions and taken pleas that they didn't need to take
I
because they
mean,
didn't know any better.
Masters in this episode, the little racist military guy,
Yeah.
signing confessions
Yep.
for something that he didn't do
But
because
he was
what?
proud to take the blame because he knew it was going to hurt the black man, though. How crazy is that?
Listen, that doggone Masters. We'll come back to that, because that whole thing is weird with Hanlon, and we got to talk about the arrival of his family and his wife and stuff. But I guess do we want to get all the gross stuff out the way first? Do we want to talk about the pickle jar incident,
Well,
or
we're
do we
Yeah.
talking
want to wait?
about Lily, so we might as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that disgusting, horrible thing they did to one of my favorite foods.
Girl, I'm like, am I ever gonna be able to eat a jar of pickles again? Like, what?
And did. I so am. I so am. I ate pickles today, matter of fact. But I'm glad I didn't start this episode when I was eating my pickle because I forgot.
Okay, and that's the other thing. I meant to start this episode with a disclaimer. If you are still eating food while watching this show,
Mm.
you have a problem. Because because there should be no reason food is on a plate in front of you while this
Nah,
show is on the set.
nah.
None whatsoever.
Yeah,
And
this time I made sure to eat before we watched it this
Mm-mm.
time. But the person who I live with related to my marriage was sitting there with her plate of food.
on this one too,
Yes.
you know what?
She's like, it ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah. She did with the recent
You know
episode
what?
too.
Michelle is a tough cookie, because I can't.
She just built different.
She got to be.
I was
She got
drinking
to
a
be.
drink and I was like,
Mm.
No. But after Ronnie's father gets arrested and Ronnie she goes to Lily's house and she confronts her. Now, that's the one time Lily's mama stood up for her, but still, that was just because this girl was banging on her door at 11 o'clock at night,
right,
and
right.
not necessarily because of protecting her child.
Yeah, I think that was more because the neighbors could hear probably.
Right.
All I
But
know is I will never look at a jar of pickles the same way.
no.
No.
Yeah. But you know, one thing I wanted to bring up about her mom real quick that I didn't think about, her mom was a waitress. And I do wonder if her mom only was a waitress because the dad got killed. And she was used to living a certain kind of life and now she got to work.
I mean, I could see that, and I
Yeah,
don't
probably
know if,
so.
because I think she said something about her mom works two jobs. So maybe the mom was already a waitress and picked up another job, or she was, because I can't think, I don't think they've mentioned any other type of job that she was doing. But I
Yeah.
think Lily did say something about her either working a double shift or working a second job.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's how we end up in the grocery store, because she goes in to do her
Right.
shopping. And even the guy who, I guess the supermarket manager, he's like, "Oh, you doing the shopping again?" She was like, "Yeah, my mom's working late." He was like, "Okay, you go do whatever.
Right.
Find what you
You need
need.
help, come get
You
me
need
to
help."
reach the hospital.
Now, let me say this. As much grossness as was in this episode, I think that motherfucker peeping around the grocery aisles creeped me out more. because the way he was doing it, he was just like, like,
Can you
no.
imagine, like, not knowing if it's real? Oh my
And
God.
he's just walking behind her and then just like literally with his eyes bulging. I was like, no, and she like, I think she feels like something is going on with her, but she's also trying not to look because she's trying to convince herself that what she's imagining or what's happening is not really happening.
Right.
So you've got grocery aisles closing themselves in, you got shelves moving, you got people staring at her, which the staring at her thing I can understand. Oh, that's Looney Lily Bainbridge. That's the
Right.
girl who was there when the kids got killed in the theater. The staring part I can get. The aisles closing and she not recognizing or she not noticing it. I was like, okay, this is getting a little too weird. That dude, when I tell you I got goosebumps just mentioning him. That dude was probably the creepiest part of the episode
No,
because he was the one thing that I think I wasn't expecting.
no,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the first the first woman, the first old lady, she walked by who turned and looked at her, and then she went, I said no.
Oh yeah. Yeah, her.
No,
But see,
no.
again, that kind of falls in line with what I would expect for something like this. So she creeped me out, and I was like, yeah, no, you need to get out of that grocery store. But it wasn't one of those, I need to look around the corner. The way that dude was following her and the way he was just popping up out of the thing and going back, no, he put me in the mind of, and I know they have no relation, no correlation, but you want to know how creepy that was for me? You remember the little bouncy things in the Wiz? That's what it reminded me of. That's how creepy that was. That dude, no, no.
It makes it even creepier too because it's not like a dark bedroom, it's not a sewer, it's literally in the daylight at a grocery store where
In
things like
public,
this should not be happening. And that makes it even more like you're not safe anywhere, girl.
no,
Like I
no.
can't imagine being a child, 12 years old or however old they're supposed to be, 13, and this is happening to me. And
Right.
I can't even go to the grocery store.
Because you're surrounded by people. You should feel safe.
Right, right, exactly, exactly.
I think
Mm.
that's sort of a point of it.
Yeah.
You're never safe.
You're never safe.
Thanks, Aunt.
You're never safe. I just realized I have it playing in the background. The old
Me
lady
too.
was following her too. So
Was she actually following her? Okay.
yeah, she
Because I was
walked
going
by
to
in
say,
the
she is in
background
a
a couple of
grocery
times.
store. People are shopping. People
No,
tend to do the aisle to aisle thing when they're grocery shopping.
no, 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 no,
No.
no.
She
No.
creepily is watching.
Yeah, the dude is doing it more, but the woman, the old lady, did it a couple of times too.
Yeah, let me tell you. That dude it was too much. It was too much. It was like, I think I got creeped out by him. I think more so than the whole whatever Ronnie went through, whether that was real, whether it was a dream that she expect, because that I kind of expect from Pennywise. I expect something like that from it. You know,
Yeah.
the other
100%.
like that would be like Anthony following me in the grocery store and just peeking out because you're normal. This person is normal. He looks like just a regular white guy wearing khakis, grocery shopping, and then all of a sudden you look at his face and his eyes are like this. I was like, mm. And I have a thing about people who make those kinds of facial expressions too, because it's like he has no emotion, no real expression. It's just blank and creepy and bug-eyed with the creepy smile. No, no.
It reminds me, because I started watching The Shining. I didn't finish it because I actually got kind of bored at certain parts, but I was watching The Shining and just looking at Jack Nicholson, and it's like he was crazy looking prior to any of this.
Yes. Yes.
He was definitely perfect for this role because he was
Mhm.
already like
And
crazy
you know,
eyes.
the eyebrows and the way he smiles, I mean, that's what made him such a perfect
Yeah,
Joker
yeah,
because he
exactly.
looks diabolical. He really
Just
does.
He
creepy.
looks unhinged.
He
That's a
does.
good word for
He
it.
does.
Yeah, because Michelle watched it last week, and was watching the interview that he had at the beginning, and I'm like, they must really be desperate because this is not a dude that you look like you need to be handing the
No,
keys over
absolutely
to
not.
a hotel.
Well, the
Right.
person previously killed his whole family, so I
Yeah,
guess he was a step up. I don't know.
because he wasn't right. Because sitting there in the interview, he was not right.
Yeah, and it's like when the guy was telling him, like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be up here for months in this isolated stuff." Oh no, I'm good with that. I was like, nope, nope, nope.
Oh boy.
Because he also does the bug eyed thing when he does the smile. It's creepy. It's
Yes.
Yes,
creepy.
it is
Okay,
creepy.
but I do have one little bone to pick with these people. In reality, she only broke one jar of
I
pickles. And
know.
you gonna send it to Juniper Hill? Like, what is
What,
wrong with you?
what
It
is
was
wrong with
one
you? I
jar
think it was not necessarily that she broke the jar, but
in the
then she was on the
screaming.
ground like,
And
oh
she
Yeah,
was
my.
screaming. Yeah.
yeah.
So obviously she was looking at something they weren't looking at. So I think that's probably why they were like, okay.
She
Because,
was
you know, especially back then, you know, they had this whole saying like crazy is catching. Like, oh, if you get too close to somebody who's acting like that, you're going to
Mm,
start acting like that too. Like they really believe that kind of
that
stuff back
is
then.
true. That is true.
So that's probably what that was like. Oh, you know what? We need to get her out of here because
Out of polite society.
right, right. Because she might be that crazy might be catching. That crazy might be contagious. But when she really starts, like when she's going down the aisles, and I'm sitting there at this point, once I see the guy and he start doing this, I'm looking at literally every cereal box, every can. I'm looking to see if something is going to be out of place. But everything was so neat and everything was so perfect. Then she gets to the aisle with the jars, and I was just like,
Yep.
pause. Okay, let me
oh
just.
wait, did you skip the Wheatie boxes with all of our friends?
Oh, yes, that was the thing. I was. Yes, you're right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it was Wheaties. I
Well,
couldn't tell.
or the off brand, but yes, the
Yeah.
cereal boxes with Phil and Susie and Teddy. Was Maddie
Teddy.
wasn't on there, was he?
Yeah, I think he was in the first one. I think he
Okay,
was the first
okay.
one. Yeah.
But yeah. So that's when you start knowing, okay, something's about to happen.
Something ain't right.
And I really thought that she was probably gonna die because I was like, okay, y'all killed off half the quote unquote main characters in the first episode. Maybe it's her time to die, you know. But when she sees the jars and she starts, I don't remember if it was that she saw something or she heard something. But when I looked at the jars, I was like, this looks a little too familiar. It reminded me of the Walker heads that the governor kept in the jars in his bedroom. So I was
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
see,
on The
I was
Walking
thinking of
Dead.
Silence of the Lambs with the old girl head in the jar.
See that's another movie I've never watched. I don't know if I ever
Oh,
will watch it. I
What size of lambs? I'm trying to get to the pickles. It ain't coming up fast enough. I got to get there.
there
oh
there's
yeah,
Uh,
there's
there's a
certain
scene with body parts in jars in Silence of the Lambs. So I
yes.
knew what was coming. As soon as
So
she
I
turned that
will
corner.
say when it comes to certain horror, okay, and like I can do some things that are kind of out of the realm of the imagination. Like if I know without a fact that this absolutely cannot happen in my life ever, I'm pretty okay. I can watch it. I can do. When it has to deal with something that can have a basis in reality, I tend to
mhm.
stray away from it. I the whole cannibalism thing with Anthony Hopkins and just seeing the clips of him over the years, because you have to remember that came out when we were children. my mom didn't let me watch stuff like that, but I would still kind of see like commercials or stuff like that. Anthony Hopkins always scared the hell out of me when I saw him as Hannibal Lecter. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, I can't. Now,
I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, we were children when that came out.
yeah, mm-mm. So
Mm.
there's a lot of those things. Like that's one reason why I tend to stay away from like the really violent ghost stories, because I do believe that ghosts exist. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, you
same.
got vengeful spirits. Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't think I want to deal with that. So, yeah, no. But when I saw the pickle jars,
This guy is creepy though.
and then not only does she see like the body parts all over the pickle jars,
Mm,
this motherfucker starts talking to her. I was done.
yeah.
I was done. I was like,
It kind of reminded me of on Constantine when the demon came after him, he lit the match, and it was like faces, and it was talking, and it was just like pieces of skin, and it was just gross. It's
yeah.
very Frankensteinish.
Yeah, see, this is I'm watching the grocery store scene now. So I just saw the woman Anthony was talking about where she turned to look at her and went, and then yeah, see this guy, because
There's
he comes
Maddie.
around the corner first, and then he's behind her, like right in the camera. I
Oh,
was like, I can't do this. I cannot do
oh yeah, it's all cornflake. Oh, I see. I forgot about this, about the kids being on the cereal boxes. Oh, and then they close her in with pickles on the other end. Child, I would have lost my whole mind. I don't know how she survived.
right. And this guy is just so creepy. Oh, and that's the thing, because he started doing the Pennywise walk,
Mm-hmm.
tiptoeing from side to side while
Side
he's
to side,
doing.
yeah.
No, dude. You know what? Fuck you. I can't. No.
This little girl reminds me of Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy
Yes, she does.
on oh my God. Ugh, he's so nasty. Oh my God, in that jar. Oh my God. Ah, ah,
But
No, when they wrapped around her neck and then stick itself in her mouth. I
ah.
was like,
listen,
oh, we already had the
I will
umbilical
say
cord.
that
This was
kind
like
of
another birth scene. Oh my God. It was all the
that
jars
part kind of
broken.
bothers me though, that they did the whole in her mouth thing though. That kind of I didn't like that.
yeah.
To me, that was way too over the top and very phallic, and I did not like that at all. That they were like, "Oh, let's stick it in her mouth." No, 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 no! Don't do
Yeah.
that to a child, please. That's horrifying.
I think
Yeah.
they're
Please
going
stop
for
doing
like
that.
tentacle horror.
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought that was
Right.
a little much. It
Now
was
here's the
already
interesting
scary.
thing, because
Ooh,
I'm
ooh,
watching it now. Like, she just left the cereal boxes and she's in the aisle with all the pickle jars and stuff. So
mm-hmm.
the cereal boxes, you have Maddie on the top row, then you have Teddy, and then you have Phil and his sister on the same box. Now, as they start panning down, you start to see the faces right on the cereal box. Did
Yeah.
you notice that everybody's face rotted except for Phil's?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because yeah.
It's like, hmm, are you hinting at something? Is Phil going to be the next evil friend to bring death and destruction to her life? Because it was Maddie at
Mm.
first. So,
Mm.
Mm.
I don't know.
Maybe Phil is floating. Because
Oh, Phil
they
is
all float down
floating.
there.
He's floating.
They all
but
float down there, you know.
Oh, Phil.
this
Oh man,
poor
that scene was
baby.
hard to watch, man. Oh my God, that was horrific.
That thing crawling across the floor was
Oh.
that was stuff of nightmares. So,
And then it was
Listen,
the color and the slime and just everything was just like you said, the stuff of nightmares. It was like perfectly
when
disgusting.
the hand came and held the head up, I was like, oh my God, that is too much.
Yeah, yeah.
was her dad's name Melvin? Because that's the name that's on the pickle jar.
Oh,
No,
or
I
was
don't
that the
know.
name of the factory?
Oh, could be. But yeah, this is yeah. Okay, I forgot about this. You were talking about how the tentacle thing bothered you because it
Yeah.
did seem that the whole thing with her dad saying like, "Give daddy a kiss" and
Ugh.
licking the jar. I was like, "Oh, so y'all are gonna make it that way?" Like,
Yeah. And it's funny because ever since I mean, because it's a thing more now where it's really open about like, especially with little girls about molestation and just how stuff looks and stuff.
mhm.
But ever since I saw the Nickelodeon thing about Dan Schneider and the children and how he used to have those babies, like even Ariana Grande, like all them up and coming stars do stuff that was very phallic or hinted at very sexual things.
Yeah.
Now when I see stuff, I really pay attention. I'm like, that's a child, and that was a little too much. And it just makes me run back to him. Like, is this what they're thinking when they plan this stuff? I know everybody doesn't think that way, but like, why would you have a go in her mouth? Like, why was
Yeah,
that
and even
necessary?
even even with the little thing when it's crawling towards her
Yeah,
and climbing up her legs, when he's coming towards her when she screams, it's because he's sticking his tongue out at her trying to yeah. Yeah.
it's horrible. I
Yeah,
don't like it.
I think I don't think they were trying to do like sort of a if they were trying to imply that maybe he was messed with her, then
Which
I
he,
wouldn't like that because that's a
yeah,
repeat of Beth, and
right,
we've already seen it.
right.
Yeah.
Excuse
And
me.
you don't really need to show us that in that kind of graphic way. I
Yeah,
mean,
Yeah, because she's already horrified.
yeah. She's
we're already horrified.
We're already horrified.
So you really don't need to do the additional stuff because even if you go that route and if that is part of her trauma, because I don't know, a lot of times when you hear about kids who have been molested by their parents or that sort of scenario, especially when we see it fictionalized, a lot of
right.
times those kids they take that responsibility on themselves. They
Mhm.
blame themselves,
Yeah,
for the adults' actions because they don't know to think this dude is an adult. He should have better control. He should know right and wrong, whatever. No, the kids
right.
take that on themselves. So if they're going to go that way with this story, like again, we don't know what she dealt with in Juniper Hill. We don't know
Yeah,
what the other part of her trauma is. That could be a whole part of the reason why she feels guilty about her dad, because if he was abusing her, then maybe she
mm,
felt thankful that he died
right, right.
and guilty at the same time. It's kind of like in Eve's Bayou,
Yeah,
with
Mhm.
Megan
yeah,
Megan Good's character. So
yeah,
if they're gonna bring that part of the story, okay, like you said, that trope has been overly done. But unfortunately, again, this is 1962. That was happening a lot back then, you
and
know.
in Derry apparently.
But then it's like if you bring that story, if you actually physically bring that story, like show us something, I'm not gonna think about the story that's in front of me now. I'm gonna be thinking about that fucking pickle jar. And
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
And
I
agree
then
with
did
and
you.
now
need
I'm
that
starting to
visual.
think now I'm starting to think that a lot of their child abuse was influenced by it.
By it.
Hmm.
Mm.
Because that's
Because
the
that
thing
would
about
create a
like
lot
with
of
Henry
trauma.
Bowers, was he an abused kid? Because I can't remember now. It's been so long since I read the book. But was he abused and that's why he
Oh,
kind of was like the way he was?
Physically
yeah.
abused, yes, and I'm trying to remember if he was sexually abused.
I mean, even just the abuse in general, like, like that influence to beat your kid or whatever, be angry
Yeah,
at your kid all the time. Because
I think dad was an alcoholic. Dad had anger issues. I don't remember if mom was in the picture.
yeah,
So yeah, but that's a good point, Anthony. Like he could be influencing the way these parents act because that makes the kids more vulnerable and it
Hmm.
yeah,
makes them more
And
open
you
to
just create a cycle
right.
of
generations of
trauma.
scared, harmed people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's some scary stuff right there, man.
But it's like even without all of the trauma stuff, like Lily already has so much to deal with. Going away from the really heavy stuff, going back to some of the quote unquote lighter stuff in the episode. I'm gonna say this right now. The Fandom Hybrid podcast would like to negotiate with Pennywise. Can we get back Phil or Teddy and give him Marge? Because when I say I do not like this little girl.
Oh my God. That is like online. Everybody's like, can you kill this?
She is so horrible. And
okay.
I get it. You're one of the kids that nobody really pays attention to. You're not really popular. You want to be in with all the popular girls, but it's like the way she's trying to go about it is so smarmy. Like you come off the bus, they're having a conversation, which clearly was not including you, and you keep trying to jump into the conversation, and then you make fun of someone else the same way that these girls probably made fun of you at one
point. Yeah, and probably still do.
Right. And then, well, I mean, we saw that in this episode because once Patty started seeing that Marge was getting a little bit too much attention, then she starts turning on Patty.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she starts turning on Marge.
That is true.
That's kind of what those types of bully leaders do. It's like, okay, yeah, you can have your little fun, but once it takes away from my shine, from my importance in the group, now I got to bring you down a notch to make you understand that you can't, we see it all the time. And the crazy thing is, at least with Patty, and I'm thinking about this because the same thing was with Angela in Stranger Things. I'm rewatching Stranger Things, the most recent season to prepare for the new season. Angela is the same way. It's like you're making fun of someone who is a little bit lesser than you or not as socially inept or whatever. But as soon as people start kind of breaking away from your grasp of your influence, then you gotta be a little more mean. But at least with people like Angela, people like Patty here in this show, to expect that from those characters. So it's like, because they're not really pretending to be anything else. She's not pretending to like Lily, that she's allowing Marge to hang around, but that's because Marge is a suck up. And that's she likes suck ups,
Right.
But Marge, the way you go from trying to be in with the popular girls and then going back to your less popular friend and being like, oh yeah, I just want to make sure you're okay. Well, I saw you talking to Ronnie Grogan and you can't talk to her because of what happened. The patty cakes, they really care about you and they want you to be in with. I was like, bitch, if you don't shut Pennywise, where are you? Pennywise, where
But I love that Lily was like, girl, I don't care about them because I got something messing with my whole life. Like I don't care about them.
And Susie are dead. I don't give a damn about your patty cakes.
Right.
I was like, good. And then when she, goes into the cafeteria and she's like trying to save her a seat, when Lily walked away from her, I said, okay, good. But then she starts doing this whole little mean girl shtick and everybody starts laughing at her until Patty starts taking her down a notch. And I was like, you know what? Both of y'all can just like
disappear.
Float.
Just float.
They can just float.
About kid characters, but some of these kid characters is like all Maddie wanted to do was go to the movies and get out of Derry because he knew shit wasn't right.
Yeah.
Why y'all gotta take the sweet kids?
His life was a mess, he wasn't hurting nobody.
Right. You want somebody to take the mean kids. They're more your spiel.
Yeah.
No, he needs the mean kids to cause the trauma.
I know. But I'm like, when I say I'm so sick of Pat, it's only the second episode. I'm so sick of this girl. I'm so sick of her.
Patty cake.
And it sucks because that little sweet little baby boy, Will's little friend, I forget his name. He thinks she the most beautiful girl in the world, but I bet you she'll treat him like just total crap because of the patty cakes. He thinks she just the best thing since sliced bread with her little bug ass self. Mm, mm, mm.
Do these glasses make my eyes look buggy?
Yes,
Yes, they do.
yes,
Yes,
they
they do.
do.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh. What was the kid's name that befriended Will?
I can't think of his name.
I
It's
can't
Okay.
think of his name.
I'm gonna have to go back and look. But okay, so talking about
Cuban
Will.
or something. He's Hispanic of some sort, I think, or Latino.
Yeah.
I can't think which version to
Because I
say.
was trying to think if maybe he was a relative of one of the Losers Club, but I
Oh,
can't remember.
that's. Huh. Let me
But
see. I think.
talking about Will, and let's go to Major Hanlon because his wife and son arrive in town.
Mm,
Now, I'm a little conflicted on the wife. I'm gonna be real upfront and honest about her.
okay.
On the one hand, I like that she's bold, and I like that she doesn't take people bullying, lying down like everyone else when the other little kid was getting bullied. Everybody else is just sitting there watching, and she actually went to try to stop it. I don't have a problem with that part. But for you to be someone new in town and you're automatically coming in with this strong personality, not knowing, like, you're not reading the room. And I feel like she is, I feel like she's causing a little more tension than she needs to.
We say she's doing too much.
She's doing too much.
She's doing too much.
Because the whole thing, like, yeah, you go into the butcher shop and he says something about, are you passing through? And she was like, well, I guess I do stand out. He was like, I've been here 30 years. I ain't never seen you before. That's all I meant, you know?
Right. You
And
tend to remember people.
right. And he got a little bit offended by it. And I understand that because yeah, you might be coming from Shreveport, you coming from the South where things are a little more blatant with the racism. You are in a town where there are people who don't jive with that. The military, what was he, general? He's one of them. He was like, yeah, you know what? I know they did that shit to you. We don't fly with that here. There are some people who are not like everybody else, but she comes in and she just automatically makes that statement. And I was like, I just feel like she's itching for some trouble. And just listening to what her husband said about her in that
She's looking for
argument,
trouble.
yeah,
She's
he
looking
was
for it.
he was like, yeah, you the one that be starting shit. Like the brick in our car window in Shreveport, that had nothing to do with me. And I was like, oh, what are you doing? And then he said, going into places where I'm not invited, which again, I don't have a problem with that. She's bold, she's taking a stand. But when you're sitting at the dinner table and you just causing arguments and then you want to get mad because your child don't want to sit there and have dinner discussion, no, because the
He got to
atmosphere around
survive.
the table is tense. Who
Yeah, he got to survive. He got to survive at school, and you about to go to his school and cause a ruckus.
Not only that, but still, you talking about, look, we only get to come together one time a day. Is it too much for me to ask to sit around the table with my family when you're causing trouble? Yes, because guess what? Just like y'all adults, and this is something again, 60s versus 2000s, we, you know, we are learning that we can't just treat our kids like that. Like the way I remember just even me being as a parent, my kids being slow to move in the morning, you yelling at them, come on, let's go. Da 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 da. Why would you want to start someone's day like that? Because that sets the tone for the entire rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing at night. You've had a stressful day, you've been at work, your child has been dealing with bullying at school, or maybe not bullying at school. Maybe he had a hard test. Maybe he forgot his homework. Maybe he had an argument with his friend. But whatever, when you come home at the end of the day, yes, that's a chance for you as a family to sit down and talk. But don't nobody want to hear drama. and then be expected to sit there and be like, oh yeah, mom, my first day at school was nice, blah, 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 blah. Y'all were just arguing a couple of minutes ago. Oh, we're not arguing. That's just how we talk. Y'all have said
No.
it so many times that you sound like robots and you're doing it in sync.
Yeah.
Something
And
is wrong with that picture.
she being disingenuous too, because she know her kid is smart.
Yeah.
She know he ain't a stupid child.
No.
Dad know he ain't a stupid child too.
Mhm.
They know
They
he's
know.
smart.
Right.
But like we said earlier, they're supposed to be seen and not heard. They supposed to do what you tell them to do and be all, nice and kid. And no, like you said, we have learned it don't work like that.
Yeah. Like they go through their stress too.
Yeah. So basically, like, this kid, he already had a rough day. And then your mom is saying, oh, did this happen to you? Did you get bullied? Because I saw what happened to this other kid. Are they doing that to you? And why would he say yes? Because my thing is, he handled it in his way, keeping his head down, go serve his little detention, and he moved on.
Right.
But she goes up in the school acting a fool. And then, of course, then the teachers already who treat him badly because he's a black kid
And
are
he
now
showed
going to
up
be like,
late.
right. And he
Mm-hmm.
showed up late. Not that it was his fault, but they don't care. And then so they're looking at you and they're like, mm-hmm. And then here come your mama.
Right.
Starting
And he
stuff,
know and he knows his mama's extra. He knows
Right.
she's doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like, nah, you don't need to come up here.
I
We
mean,
good.
she literally asked him that after she said, I got a mind to call their mamas. Excuse me,
Right.
didn't you just come from the South? Who white parents are you about to call and go off and think that's gonna be
Yeah.
okay?
And
Yeah.
and second of all, who who she thinks she is going to sit there and tell all those teenage boys who are bigger than her to stop beating on that little kid. They looking
Yes,
at
she
you
was
like
ready to take an L.
she, she got lucky the boy got up and ran.
Especially you knew these kids don't know you,
They don't know you.
even if they are. Let's just play devil's advocate. Even if these kids are not racist, even if their parents are not racist, you are an outsider.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, growing up, us, if my friend got in trouble and I was with her, I got in trouble from the friend's mama, and then I had to come home
Yeah.
and get in trouble with my mama because they
From
done called
people
my
you
mama.
knew. Right.
But this
Yeah.
is people that knew me, people I grew up with, people who had a relationship with my parents. The whole it takes a village to raise a child. That really was the case in the 70s and the 80s. We had that kind of mentality where the parents were like, oh, okay, well, if your children are playing on this side of the street, I'm looking out for them. But if they're playing on that side of the street, you look out for them. We had that. You are new in town. Don't nobody know who you are. Whose phone you, first of all, whose phone number you got that you about to just pick up and call? Because I say this, you might be bold or whatever. You might not be scared. I bet you're not about to go knock on none of these white folks' door.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I get how her as a mom, she probably did, and she was. Well, I know some. I actually know something from the new episode that makes me also feel like why she did what she did too. So I
Okay.
won't spoil that. But I'll just use her as a mom. I feel like she saw it like, which is why she asked her son, did he get bullied? Because she saw it like, oh, this could be my kid. And I totally understand that. But I
Mm-hmm.
also know that you can't jump in the middle of everything. Because you
No.
trying to help folks will get you killed, and it will
Yes.
get people around you killed, and
Especially in 1962.
yeah, with nothing but white folks looking at you like, "Lady, is you crazy?"
Right. Like,
And
yeah,
she
you
should have
got a
known.
couple of
She
people
should
who
have.
were real nice to you in that town, but now you've made it known that you are, I don't want to say a troublemaker because she was trying to stave off the trouble, but to that community, you're stirring
Yeah.
up stuff. You're putting
Uh,
your nose in business that it don't need to be
and
in.
and we kind of know something more about how it is influencing
Influencing, right?
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no one is paying attention to the kid getting bullied. Like no one is paying attention to what's happening over there.
Mm-hmm.
So they all, of course, they're all just walking by. She don't know that yet. She ain't under the influence yet.
Yeah.
But we know as audience that's what's happening.
But the other thing too is it might not even be that. Back then, they really had that kind of mindset of what was it the butcher said? Oh, boys will be boys.
Boys
They
will
Yeah.
boys.
still say this to this day.
Yeah.
So
Also, like Hanlon, when they came to, and he was shaking his hand when the kid and the mom first came, and he was like shaking his hand. He was like, "Is that all you got?" Like in that mindset of like being a man, like, "Is that all you got?" You know. And the little boy, he's smart, so he popped off at the mouth with a little something something.
Yeah.
Because that's the way he handles things. But like you could tell, it's like, I want you to be a man, be a man. And it's like, I don't know.
1962.
1962. They want you to not, the little boy get beat up. It's fine. Rub some dirt in it. It's fine.
Right. I mean, that whole thing, like, oh, that's just boys being boys. Oh, that's gonna teach you to be tough. That sort of thing. So but like I said, the mom, I don't know. I feel like she gonna be a problem.
Yeah, she ain't being set up for success.
She's not. She's
Yeah.
not.
She's not being set up for success.
And it's like on the one hand, yes, I can understand. Again, if it's for your own child, I can understand you, because this is where you're coming from. You're coming from a town and a area where Will may not have been treated very well. He may have been bullied or whatever. But you coming into a whole new town, you are, as she said, I guess you're not used to seeing people like me. Bitch, you are the token. Keep your mouth shut. Because other than that, you're gonna be targeted.
Oh, okay. So the person who I live with, related to by marriage, is not on the podcast tonight, but I know that she will say, ma'am, you need to just be more careful, because one, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
And two, you got to read the room. These people
Right.
don't know you. They
Right.
don't know you.
And you don't know them.
And three, you need to stay your ass on the base. My wife said that several times. Why you not staying on the base? You gonna find. She said they're gonna find out real quick that things is not normal in Derry.
Yeah.
He should have put his family on the base.
Yep.
At least for the first 6 months or so. Get to know the city and see what it's like. I mean, I understand she might not have too many options, as far as if she don't like it, she can go somewhere else with him being in the military. But still, get a feel for the place first.
Especially since he was in Korea, so they weren't even together. He was overseas and she was in Louisiana, so it's not like. So you just brought them to that place and was just like, let's just move into this neighborhood we don't know nothing about.
No, she was bored and got caught up in all the activism in the South. He come home and they got bricks flying through the window.
And it could have also been it could have also been a thing of them trying to reconnect. If he's been in Korea and she's been on the base with the child, maybe he was like, okay, you know what? Maybe we need our own space so we can be a family of whatever. But still,
baby steps.
Exactly. But again, I gotta say, I don't know if being on the base is gonna be a good thing for them either, because one, your man already been jumped on the base. Two, we find out in this episode it wasn't exactly a random attack, and it wasn't even Masters.
No.
Who we thought and who signed the confession. No, they were testing Hanlon because
I was waiting to get to this.
They heard stuff about him. Apparently, when he was captured in Korea, he suffered a brain injury that damaged his
Was it hippocampus?
I think his
hypothalamus. One of them.
Yes, the one that starts with the A. I can't think of what it's called.
Amygdala.
Yes, that.
Amygdala.
So basically, this man has no fear. And we saw kind of evidence of that because, I mean, if you think about it, when they came to fight him, when they came to jump him, he wasn't scared. He got up and he started scrapping. When he went to go see Masters in the jail cell, there was something about a specific type of weapon that was used, which was a Russian weapon that, as he says, not too many people can handle this type of weapon. It takes you have to be really, really skilled in order to load it, and you do it with two hands. And he said, whoever did this, they did this in 10 seconds. And Masters, I read your files. You ain't capable of this.
You ain't capable.
So he literally puts the gun in front of Masters and then insults Masters to the point where he knows Masters is going to pick up the gun and try to shoot him. And the whole time Masters is doing that, he's just looking at him like, is it time for lunch yet? So
the man didn't even flinch.
Didn't look
like he can't be
bothered in
afraid.
the slightest.
So even if he thought he could do it, he wasn't going to be afraid of him no matter what.
No. So
but that's what I was going to bring up about before you get to that.
Go ahead.
That. So because you were saying how like the general and all them was all like, yeah, we don't do that on this base. That's not how we do it. But I get the feeling that Black people with special skills don't get treated badly, is what I get. Yeah. I feel like with Dick Halloran, because he got The Shining, this guy got this anti-fear, whatever, they're special to them, and that's why they get what they get. Because I really feel like, I don't know, we'll see, but I don't trust that they are just not racist or they're just not, I feel like it's because they're special. So just throwing that out there.
I can get that. Yeah. I can get that.
No, I mean, I figure he has an ulterior motive. He's got something that they need to get done. Yeah. And he doesn't care what race they are because they can get him what he wants.
Yeah.
This guy can fly this experimental B-52. Then I want him. He didn't care that he's Black.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's important what he can do.
Yeah. And then the whole thing about him having no fear comes out. He was like, yeah, so that was a test because Hanlon has already figured it out. He was like, this was a setup. Y'all had these people come in and beat me. And of course, Hanlon is thinking it's because of something else. He is thinking it's a race thing. And the dude was like, hold up. He was like, I know how it looks, but give me about 10 minutes to explain. And then if you want to, if you don't understand, you don't believe me, then you can go file the paperwork. I won't stop you. So apparently this has to do with what they have Dick Halloran working on, this special project that gets this man back on base drunk with no, like, I don't think we even talked about that. Was that this episode where he goes out?
I think it was this one.
He goes out with some friends, they get drunk, and they come back to the base. And, you have your little white soldier come out. Oh, you guys are drunk? Y'all gonna be in trouble. We're gonna put you in the brig, blah, 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 blah. And Dick is like, I'm gonna need you to call this in because I got special privileges.
Special privileges.
Like, my name is Dick Halloran. So the dude is looking at him like, whatever. So he makes the phone call, and you can clearly hear the other side of the phone. He was like, yeah, some guy, Dick Halloran. He said, soldier, do you want to lose your job? No, sir. You let that man in right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he lets them in. I was like, what the Dick Halloran doing? Well, apparently, they are looking for a weapon. Again, this is 1962. This is before the Cuban Missile Crisis. So everything that they're talking about is kind of leading up to that. They are looking for a weapon that will help them, as they say, cut off the Cold War before it even starts. And Dick is one of the people that is helping them because apparently he is using his ability. He's telling them that they are digging for something. And one of the officers comes up to him and he was like, look, this is the 5th dig site that we've been on. We ain't found shit. I think whatever you had that was special about you was fading. And Dick is like, no, We're close. We're close.
Mm.
So whatever it is they're
But
looking for. Uh-huh.
come on now. It ain't no spoiler what they're looking for. We know what they're looking for.
Well,
They're looking
people who
for
might
it.
look, people who
Come
might
on now.
not know.
Please. There is not a person who either doesn't know what Pennywise is,
Yeah.
doesn't know what it is. This is a prequel. We know what they're looking for. They're looking for it.
Well, they know what they're looking for, but I think some of the it's again, it's
I
kind of
think
one of those.
they have a
Yeah,
vague idea
yeah,
of what they're looking for.
yeah, and I
But
think
they do
that's
know
also on
that
a need to
fear
know
has like,
basis.
huh?
I said I
What?
think that's also on a need to know basis. Like maybe
Yeah.
the top brass know, but like some of the lower folks, they might know we're looking for something important, but you don't trust that information to everybody just because they're working there on site.
Mhm.
You know?
Because I don't think they know exactly what it is. He just knows that it has something to do with fear. That's all he knows.
Yeah, yeah.
But he probably feels like they'll know more once they find it.
Right. And that's what they're bringing in Hanlon for because he was like, I need a guy like you to go find this thing. Because whatever this weapon is, it generates fear. And the best way to get it is to send somebody with no fear. And I was like, yeah, y'all gonna send him in to die. Because he has no fear of death.
Hey,
So
Yeah,
first of all, thanks to Glenn Thurman, we know he don't die. And thanks to The Shining, we know they don't die.
yeah.
well,
Everybody
up
else,
until the shining.
well, up until this, well, yeah.
The movie
Um,
anyway.
the movie anyway, yeah. But we know everybody else is fair game.
Fair game. Yes.
Everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Those are only two we know for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and Teddy's older brother,
Yes.
because yeah, because
Because he stands
Stanley's
that.
dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
those are
one
only
of the
three we
things
know safe.
with Dick, so I remember in The Shining, he tells them that he had a story when he was in the army and he saved somebody. I can't remember who it was, but he just knew that something was going to happen and he saved somebody while they was on base or something like that. And I wonder if that's how he ended up in this position where they know he got the Shining. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Mm,
that's where that comes from. Well, how they could tie him into this
right.
is because of that. Because there's something to do with him being in the army and him having the Shining, and he knew something happened, and then something about his brother. I forget. It's been so long, but yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it made me think of. It made me think of Starship Troopers. And what's his name? Um, oh God, why can't I think his name?
Which one,
Michael
Neil
Johnny
Patrick
Knoxville?
Ironside.
Harris's character.
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris. Okay.
His
Oh
character
yeah.
was psychically controlling one of the other people
Yeah.
to find the bug. That I'm sorry, it just made me think of
That's so
Adam
funny.
loves that movie.
that.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that movie today because most of the cast were at Rhode Island Comic Con this past weekend, and I really wanted to go because I was like, oh my God, they're all here. And I couldn't go. But anyway, but yeah, so they bring Hanlon out to this site where they're digging, and it just so happens that as they're bringing him there, they've made a discovery. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not what we're thinking. If we're thinking that they're looking for it, they pull out a Jeep that's been buried in mud. I completely buried, and it has like 7
Oh,
skeletons on the
a lot
inside.
of bodies.
A lot of
A lot of
bodies.
bodies. A lot of bodies.
So yeah. Hmm. That's not Pennywise. But
Or
Well, he's
is it?
giving something off because he found it.
He does. Yeah, whatever it is, it's connected. I feel like
yeah.
based on the way they were talking, I feel like when he hits whatever he hits, there's residuals of whatever Pennywise has like left behind,
Mm,
and
yeah.
that's what he's detecting.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so my whole thing is, and I understand y'all are you're trying to avoid war. You're trying to find a weapon that's going to give you the upper hand. But my thing is, stop going digging for shit that you don't know what you're digging for. I mean, like, I'm thinking about the mummy. Stop going digging for stuff.
Don't read
Don't
from
read
the
from the
book.
book.
Don't even get to the book. Leave the book in the ground. How about that? Why are you going digging for stuff, especially if you have an idea of of the potential for damage that this thing can do? I mean, I get it. Military war, you're looking for the upper hand. I get it. But one thing about being in the military and war and all of that stuff, it really, I feel like, and I I'm really not trying to be insulting, but I think when you get to a certain point where you're only thinking about the power and what you can accomplish with it, it makes men stupid. It really does. Because if this is something that you know generates fear to the point where you have to go find a man who is medically unable to feel fear, that should worry you. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Bit.
And then just not only that, but like, you know, because you think about like they created the atomic bomb and all this stuff. I'm like, so you create this, guess what? Somebody else just gonna create the same thing and come after you. So it just never ends. So yeah, they find this one thing that they think is gonna end, but then is it just gonna spread it everywhere over time?
Or, you know, like you said, you create an atomic bomb. Okay, yeah, fine. Somebody's gonna make something better.
Right.
And bigger and more destructive. So yeah, that whole thing just kind of gets to me because it's like you literally are asking for disaster. You're asking for trouble. You are asking for it. And it's to the point where if you are making these kinds of decisions, trying to one up somebody, trying to, I don't even know if I want to say you're trying to stop war, because something with that kind of potential, you're not going to stop war. You're going to have the mindset of, oh, let's strike first while we can because we can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no stopping war. You just want to be the one to start shit.
And
you don't want to be on the receiving end.
People who you're going to war with, the worse they come back after your butt. I mean, for the most, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's
Pearl Harbor and Hiroshima.
Yeah, that's how we got the Nazis to begin with, is because of how crazy. I mean, obviously there were things that need to be done, but they sanctioned and did so much to Germany, and they were able to come back with Hitler because those people were at their last. They were destitute.
They were desperate.
And so Hitler came with a good idea, and they were like, "Let's go."
He promised them some stuff,
or not a good idea, but you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying. A good idea to them.
To them, right?
He made promises.
Right. He did. And so, oh well, we can't get no worse than where we at. You know, look at what they did to us. You know, like, come on. It happened. What else? That happened also with what else did that happen? That the same thing.
Right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Ooh, child. But yeah, so you know, oh, I remember like with the with over there in Afghanistan and stuff, whatever that stuff happened, in the late 70s, early 80s with the weaponry and all that stuff. Yeah. And then what did we get later in the early 2000s? Like this stuff, it has consequences. People just, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a war person. I don't know how to make it better, how to make war more efficient so that people don't come back. But I remember this from Donnie Brasco. They said you always kill your enemy and make sure they're obliterated. Because if you don't and you leave somebody behind, they gonna come back and get you.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna come back.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But my thing is, y'all are pulling Jeeps full of bodies out of the mud that somebody with some supernatural abilities.
Yeah.
Found.
I was gonna say I don't think it was a Jeep. I think it looked like a really nice car.
I think it was like a Cadillac
Yeah,
or
Oh,
something
okay.
something like that.
like that. Yeah. But it had so I at first thought it was gonna be the car with the family at first, because I was like,
I did too. Yeah.
uh, is this the it car with the family in it? But
Yeah.
then they were talking about the bodies, and I was like, I don't know.
Michelle said she saw a Tommy gun, so because one of
Oh,
the stories from the
oh,
book is about the
okay.
gangsters that came and the townspeople killed them all,
Yeah,
and they must have buried the car.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna have to reread that book.
yeah, and I didn't freeze frame, so I took her word for it. She saw a Tommy gun, so all right.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? There was a Tommy gun because
Yeah.
it was laying across the seat when they were had the. Okay, no, you're she. Yep, there was. There was
Mm,
definitely.
okay.
Yep.
So I guess we'll see. But either way it goes, y'all unearthing some shit y'all probably should have left buried. Cause
Yeah.
Some things are best left buried.
Yeah.
especially in Derry.
I see. And I see. Aunt found the little boy's name, Rich.
Rich, yeah, his name was Rich.
Because I was looking at the IMDb and I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure I look up these little babies' names and stuff. Because
Mm, yeah. Did we leave anything off?
I think we got everything.
I feel like yeah.
I'm
Um,
glad we got the gross stuff out the way. And now we can kind of we've mellowed out a little bit. I mean, this stuff is still weird. You pulling bodies out the ground and
yeah.
you got somebody finding bodies supernaturally, and it's a lot going on. But yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this third episode because the way y'all talking about it, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just
I definitely yeah, I don't know, I like this episode. I thought it was interesting.
now I did see something in one of the groups that I'm in. They were talking about, I think somebody made a comment about them appropriating something because apparently they're trying to say the Orisha are involved in some way.
Oh, so
Yes.
yeah, but yeah, it's more like they didn't really put like the whole thing to it.
Okay.
And so you have to have the whole situation
Okay.
to I feel like they just immediately was just angry in general on behalf of the black of the diaspora of our mythos and our whatever, but they got to remember that it's a bunch of people that fall under a lot of that. It's a lot of mixture with a lot of different religions
Yeah.
from Africa, from
Yeah.
so and so yeah, I don't think they meant it to be that way because
Okay.
it's hard to say without spoiling you on why they said that.
Okay.
But
Well,
once you see it, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah,
I'll
it's in the
watch
next
it and then we'll
episode.
talk
Yeah,
about it.
next
Mm-hmm.
episode.
Yeah. So, um, you guys have anything final to say about this episode?
Whew.
Besides, I don't ever need to see another childbirth scene in TV ever.
Or
Yeah.
pickle tentacles. I don't need to see that ever again.
No.
So
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay.
good.
No,
Um,
I'm good.
the only other thing I am going to say is this weekend, November 14th through 16th, is Conjuration Time here in Atlanta. That is a 3-day fantasy convention that we have all attended for the last several years, and we will be there again this weekend. We will be doing lots of panels. Dina will be on some of those panels with us, and she will also be doing some game show panels with some other friends of ours. If you are interested, if you're in Atlanta and want to have some geeky fun, come join us. You can find information on the website conjurationcon.com, or you can go to the Fandom Hybrid website. Yes, I'm reeling them in. Come have fun with us. It's a great time. We're gonna do panels. We'll have games. They have lots of entertainment. We will have a Wicked themed ball this year. So yeah, come out, have some fun with us. Check out our details on fandomhybrid.com. You can find all of our panel information there so you can see what we're going to be talking about. And if you happen to be there and you listen to the show, come up, say hi, let us know who you are. And on that note, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.